We're gonna make it work. Go back to Tracy. You start us off on this one.
Oh God! All right, what we talking about? Shoot.
Okay, how about that? We can start with something like we was talking about. What's the you talked about your audience, so would be a whole cursing thing like that. What's your why? Are you a pastor?
Why not cuss or why to cuss?
Either or, don't matter. Like, what does it mean to you personally?
I mean, you know, it's wordplay. Ain't nothing. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, I just like options. You know, and I feel like if you have content,
What do you mean by options?
I mean, when you have content that doesn't involve those words.
Oh, so it's an image choice.
Yeah, it's an image. When you're trying to get money, you know, you got to be able to jump in all.
Well, I think those are two different things though, because the image is one thing, but if you look at most of the most successful podcasts, they curse left and right. I'm not saying we should curse. I'm cool with not cursing.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm just
saying, like, what's a relative, like, what's a real reason and what's not. You can get money and curse all day, but the image and your audience, I think that's what you were saying by options, is having the widest reach and the widest demographic.
Well, I mean, I guess, I mean, if you getting money, if you getting money by cussing, or if you ain't getting money by not cussing, you still have. When you put yourself in a certain category, then you close, like you said, you close yourself off to a certain group of people, especially when you're developing something. You don't know who and what something could potentially, you know, when it's still blossoming, you want those options to be open. So I rather have options open. You feel me?
Fair enough.
You know,
this is a question. You know, if you develop and you find yourself too, so that's good though, because you have a reason. You have a reason.
Okay, since we on cussing, who remembers the first time that they used cuss words?
I do.
Go ahead. I'll follow up.
What's the story? I was 4 years old, maybe 3, and I just wanted to say it, but it was my brother called me a MFer, and so I went told on him, and I was like, my brother named Sean. I was like, Mama, Sean called me. I was just snitching, so I wanted to get him back because I think he pushed me and took my candy.
Like you. I swear I know exactly who you were as a child. I promise I know.
And so I went ahead and let it be known. He didn't get in trouble on the thing. Because then my mom was like, well, Sean, where you heard it from? And so then went down the whole thing, but that was the first time.
Real quick, can you guys still see me when I do this?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just realized I've been cussing so long, I don't even remember the first time I cursed. I remember the first time I did it and like lightweight got caught. I was like in kindergarten, and I had this thing because, you know, Ninja Turtle was big at some point, and my mom would always have the hangers. It was like wire at the top and then the cardboard at the bottom. So like I cut the cardboard and I would make nunchucks. And I remember like she was cleaning her car and I was in the garage and I was getting it and I hit myself on top. She said, "What you say?" I said, nothing. Like literally, like, I honestly to this, like it's so funny to this day, I don't even know if I've ever cursed in front of my parents outside of that. I definitely was about to do it in front of Pops. Pops used to curse all day, but you know, you got that mind control over it.
Yeah.
Dude, when he leaves, I'll be back cursing.
And yeah, I'll be quiet again.
But you know, that's one thing I realized, like, because of that, like my dad would always curse out of frustration. So like I mean, we all will sometimes out of frustration, but I made a choice at an early age, like I'm gonna be a happy curse. Like I'm gonna curse like out of entertainment.
Oh, out of joy.
And, you know, just more entertainment value than like frustration.
Okay.
What about you? When was the first time you cursed?
And I ain't gonna lie, I don't remember. I just know I've been doing it for a long time. But I do remember when I stopped. You know, when I stopped cussing, probably like
this morning.
So tell us that.
You know, honestly, I'll be truthful with you. I go through peaks of like when I'm just whatever comes out, I say it and how I feel. And then I go through peace where I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to speak like that. I want to be conscious of the word choice I use. So, you know, it all depends. It's a season. You know, that's kind of what I learned. Everything is a season.
Right.
I think, you know, but when, you know, I guess I was always raised when you're trying to get money or when you're trying to put yourself in a position that you're going to be judged, you know, so you got to be careful how you speak and what you speak about. So, you know, I think that's probably stuck with me the most.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, I understand that completely. Like even to like I've really just gotten to the point now where like I was having a conversation on different something else I was shooting about. It was artists, so you know, Kev understands that when you start talking about art and creative, it's a whole different thing. But it's like, you know, finding your purest self and all this and that. And I realized there was a difference between how I projected myself on my podcast and how I had been projecting myself on YouTube, just because I felt like on YouTube it was like, oh, I need to have this certain image. And I think I understand completely all of everything that Tracy said, but I also realized that people in general, and especially these days, like they identify with authenticity. So for me, I realized like from a lot of my YouTube stuff, I wasn't being my most authentic self, so it wasn't resonating with a lot of people. Whereas like some of my podcast content, when I was being more raw, like as of late, where I was being more raw, not like raw in a bad way, but like just coming like from a pure place and not filtering things as much, it resonated with people more. So like that's something that is coming into mind now for everything, but especially like a lot of my content when I'm in front of the camera. And I also understand the whole get money thing. That was one of my frustrations with, you guys know what I'm talking about. Somebody I was kind of doing some video work with. He's a retired basketball player, and his whole thing is that, you know, I gotta have this image to get this money. And he was doing a podcast, and like I wasn't in the place to tell him, but I'm like, yo, like the person that you are with me, when you talk to me, that person is so much more interesting than the person that you project yourself to be on camera. And that's like, it's hard to, and for him, he's 50 years old. Like he's, for the most part, he's locked in his ways, and he's locked in a certain world where that image is more important. But the funny thing is, like, he also wanted to get out of that world too. So like, I get what you're saying, because I've been raised the same way. My dad was a deacon. My dad's a deacon and a cop. My mom's Sunday school teacher and all that. They, you know, it's all about God. So for even deeper levels, I understand the reason to self-censor and think about image and all that. But I also realize at the end of the day, you got to be you, and there is a market and a demographic. And I think the more that you show who you truly are, I think the less, outside of it being hurtful, the less you'll be judged on the words you use.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but I'm
this say, you know, I'm not trying to get you to curse. I'm just showing where like
no,
where my
but
outlook is.
I think there is a fine line though. Like, you know, it's like everybody creates differently, so it's like whatever's gonna come. And there's certain moments where it may come out, but that's how I feel in that moment. You know, when I get upset, you know, trust believe, I'm not worried about nothing besides getting my point across on how I feel. So, you know, I'm a person I'm very emotional when I react. You know, and I think cussing is definitely a react. It's definitely, at least for me, when I use cuss word, I'm definitely reacting to something in a very passionate way. So, you know, I just challenge myself to always try to be able to go deeper than the words. You know what I mean? So sometimes sometimes there might be a moment when cussing is definitely, it's gonna be the rawest form. It's gonna sound like it's supposed to flow, but there's other times where it's forced. You know what I mean? And you know those rappers or actors, whoever you look up to, you look at it, you like, man, that dude is corny. Like, you know what I mean? Or you'll hear somebody say something or talk about something, you know, they didn't experience it, but they experienced through somebody else. That's just not me. So that's why I say, like, there's a point and a place for it. And, you know, like I said, it's definitely something that's in me. But when it's time to express myself, I do try to, for the most part, express myself without using those words. So, but
and I do like to look at it as a challenge sometimes for somebody like Kev that likes words a lot, for somebody to find a way to find a better way to craft an emotion or a feeling or to convey something rather than just simply using a curse word. Sometimes it feels good.
Well, I think it's choice too, like, because you can go ahead.
Nah, my girl always. I think my girl used to. She tells me all the time, like cussing is, if you're using cuss words because you can't articulate yourself. So, I think Malcolm X said it first though. Malcolm X said it, and it's like, it's basically like you said, using those words for the most part, you can't find a better way to express it.
Sometimes there is no better word
but I
for
also
it, but
think
usually
it's
you're
context.
right.
It's like I feel it's contextual because Malcolm X obviously was giving speeches and so on and so forth. So in that forum, obviously you're communicating differently. But if you're doing something lifestyle wise and in your normal lifestyle, if that's how you are, speaking to what Anthony was saying, but still like agreeing, because if in your lifestyle you don't. I got friends who don't curse. Again, I was an altar boy. I went to church twice a week my whole childhood. I was Catholic. So I have that whole religious, biblical background of the punishment and the guilt aspect. But then also, if you are so adept at using your words and you can still use words as well as voice them in an expression, I think it's all about the medium, the person. It's an individual choice. But yeah, I think it's honestly, right. There's no right answer. It's right for
no, but you go on real deep.
Is.
Kev, you go on real deep with it because when you really think, if you think of, and I'm not trying to go too deep in religion, but when you think about not doing something, for the most part, if you dig deep enough, there's gonna be a reason behind it because somebody told you not to do it. That might be a parent, a guardian, a religion, etc. And for the most part, and I don't agree with that all the time, like just not doing something because somebody told me not to do it. You know what I mean? So there is a fine line on living out living your life to the knowledge of and to the information that you have, and living your life to the information that represents you the best way too. And then there's a way of just basically being a follower. If somebody tells you not to do something, you just don't do it. You don't question it. So, it's kind of interesting. I wonder how many people, you had to do like a poll, like how many people use cuss words, follow rules, and how many people don't follow the rules. I wonder what the poll would be. That's kind of interesting.
But then you'd have to go deeper and then go into like the neuroscience of it. And then you can see it like sometimes we do stuff before we even made the choice. So, I mean, you go on and on deep down the rabbit hole. We was just trying to start it off. Now we done went. We done went way.
I love those rabbit holes.
To the open field. To be like, what is y'all talking about?
Rabbit hole.
Exactly. That's why I cited neuroscience research, starting from why I curse, why I not curse.
Yeah, but I mean, expressing it. Everybody wants to express themselves. You know what I mean? So
true.
When you really think
that's what I say. It's individual. Like I don't think there's any right or wrong. It's just if you're authentic to yourself and that's how you do it, it'll either come across as such, and if not, I think some people can tell.
But authentic, like being authentic, it's not something you see, it's something you feel, at least for me. So you don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If I don't know you personally, but I'm watching you, I think there's nuances to a character that eventually, gives itself to like, that's a very constructed move or constructed way of speaking versus, I think that's how they all know me.
And I think it's all about perspective too, because authenticity, I think from the individual's perspective, is something we feel much more. But from the outside looking in, if somebody doesn't know you personally, they're going to see it and feel it. But that's you can tell when something's contrived or when they're just going through it, like reading their internal script rather than like letting something flow.
But being authentic, I wonder if that's a cultural thing within like the Black community, or if that's a human aspect. Because I feel like, as a Black man, especially a Black man in America, being authentic is like almost like, it's a sense of pride in being authentic. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm authentic. Like I'm real. I'm this. It's like we put more on it than really probably what it should be, and that turns for us from the flip side too, because when you start doing that, you can't tell what's real and what's fake anymore. You know, because then you got people that portray an image because they know it could be wrapped up and sold. You know what I'm saying?
I think there's a difference between, for us necessarily, what we're saying, what we are defining as being authentic, and then like being real. Like when you're saying like being real, I think that is a cultural thing that is definitely more in the African American culture. But like authenticity is something that I think is just a human thing.
I think that real thing is African Americans. I think we subscribe. Blacks, we subscribe to it a lot more. I guess outwardly, but I do know, like, just across cultures, it's probably more relegated to like the whole idea of masculinity is what the deep root of it comes down to. Because whenever you got somebody saying about real or not, it's always something disrespect that they trying to imply or speak to. It's like, oh, you fake, you just that. And so you putting on the line undertones of it's a manhood thing. And we know how manhood, the bravado, the machismo.
Because to me, I feel like, go ahead. I was gonna say, to me, I feel like being real. I can hear you. Your audio.
Yeah, real, but yeah, because real to me is like street. It's like a street.
Well, I was gonna say, to me, like being like the concept of being real is something that is defined externally, where I think authenticity is defined internally. Like only you can know what's being authentic to you, Tracy. And then I can be like, oh, you're not being real because I am trying to define you externally, or neighborhood, or family.
Trying to impose with your definition of real or it. You know what I mean? Because that's all the time. Because you might have somebody whose definition of real does not align with what you believe, right? And your own. And so to them, they being real, but to you, they're not. But it's all a matter of like, where does that line start and begin?
So, I mean, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying at the end of the day, there's real and there's fake. And obviously, when you break down the core, if something ain't real, it's fake. And if it's fake, if it ain't fake, it's most likely real. Even when you look at women, I mean, either, you know, you use the terminology.
I can't agree with a binary.
But no. So I get what you're saying, Tracy. Hold on one second. I get what you're saying, Tracy. But I think we're using the same word, but we're defining it differently.
Okay.
Because like so that's why I brought up the difference between authenticity and real is one thing. But then like so there's authenticity, what was the first thing we were talking about. The second thing was being real, which is like defined by, are you being real and staying true to this and that? Now, what you're bringing up now is the third thing. Like, it's something actually real. Like, I think those are three different definitions of a very similarly used term.
They are, but they fall under the same. Yeah, you said that. Yeah, they fall under the same umbrella too, so closely and so many times. So
nuance.
It's what, huh?
Nuance.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, but you're right. That's what I'm saying. So, but I'm saying, as for most people, when they think of real and fake, they think, you know, it's mostly in hip hop, it's mostly in street culture, it's mostly in, you know, if you fake, you whack. You know what I'm saying? Like you a poser. You ain't true to the cause. And then if you real, you down for the cause.
That is why the word that I brought into the conversation was authenticity. That's different from being real. That was my only point. I'm not arguing anything you're saying, but like being authentic, and that's what I was trying to define. Like authenticity is internally defined. Only you can say what's authentic.
But you can only say, and I feel like that's more universal than fake too.
You're agreeing? Yes, we're agreeing from something from 10 minutes ago. We made it.
The roundabout way was, you know, I was just like, I'm back here just bouncing the back.
No, I can hear you snickering. Tracy frozen on your end?
Yeah, he's frozen, and I was snickering for the record to record. Yeah, he's still frozen.
I know.
I thought it was mine, but it can't be because me and you still good. This ain't easy, boy. I was like, all right, let me see. Said this isn't easy. Trying to
Work out.
Go the entire time. Yeah. But
oh yeah. You know, how long were you planning to go? Tracy dropped out. He said, "Forget
probably 20-something minutes." He said, "Y'all ain't gonna agree with me. I'm David Ruffin. Y'all the Temptations." Yo, oh man, I love.
I'm gonna show you real.
Click. Be like, y'all ready to believe what real is? That's what I just did to y'all. But
oh man, hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can get him back.
Boom, 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 boom. All right. Let's see.
Yeah, if he let. Yo, do you have it set up with your? Do you have it set up on your Zoom to where your photo just pops up randomly, or is that what happens like when you lose signal?
When you probably, I went. Calling me. So it'll if you like blink out because I'm on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So if I leave, then your picture pops up.
Hold on. See, waiting room, iPhone, admit. Well, I get what you said. I heard what you said.
Oh.
You back?
Oh yeah, I want you to have to edit too much out.
Yeah.
Side conversation. There you go. The realest one in the zone.
Run you off.
Oh nah. You know, he didn't run me off. You know, I'm real. I'm real.
Really? Oh, I already said it.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
The realest one on the pod.
Nah. But no, this is so many, you know, and I think some of this stuff is really important. And, go back to our original conversation. Like, I think it was like, should we use certain words? Should we use profanity or not on this? And it goes back to, you know, when you.
I am frozen.
When you put something out there, you don't know where it's gonna end up. You know what I mean? It's gonna represent you, and it's gonna represent your culture. So
Here's the thing. After that, just so I don't forget.
Yeah, but no matter if you're using profanity or not, I think at the end of the day, you want to represent yourself and you want to represent the people who look like you at the best way you know how.
Yes. I got a point.
Go
ahead. I know you were going to
Yeah. I get what you're saying, but then also that I think that's part of the whole problem of why it kind of perpetuates itself, because when you're doing something where you have a view that doesn't align with general populace, so that everybody wants to say, oh, you know, you out there, this, that, and other. But then you telling me about being real, but being real in the aspect, you need to be individual. You need to come to choices on your own, or be able to look at stuff differently and understand that, okay, why every action I'm taking is, what is this popping up? Why every action I'm taking is reflective of a whole culture. So I have to put an asterisk and explain why I feel this way. Whereas everybody else, you're an individual and you're a character. Now I get how the system is set up to make it seem that way, but everybody's not gonna be cool, whatever they are. You know what I'm saying? And somebody is gonna be, from a view, a villain from what we see them as. Not saying they are, but in their belief, no villain believes they're a villain. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, whatever cause that they working for a culture is like they doing it for them, but to be like, okay, you did bad, so now you're representative of the whole group, I think it belittles the people in mass, especially in the Black community, because it's like, oh, you're making us look bad. Nah, you ain't making us look bad.
well, hold on.
Hold on, real quick. I was gonna say something to your original point, Tracy. Like, I get what you're saying, and I agree. It is something that is bestowed upon us, whether it's fair or not, as especially African American men, to be representative of our culture and our family and everything else. But, and I could even agree, like, if that's the burden that you want to bear, that's fine. But I think there's a line where you have, if it comes down to what's more important between representing others accurately the way they want to be represented and being true to yourself, then I think every human has to decide what's more important. Like, some people really, really represent the culture. Some people really are a spokesperson, or they are the platform for a lot of things, and that may be different. because I think you get to a point where we're just talking about person. So it's not that serious, but on a deeper level, I think it comes to a point where if what you're doing or not doing or how you are conducting or censoring yourself is not in tune with who you really are, then you are doing yourself a disservice, and you can be creating a detriment to yourself when you are not allowing your true self to be. And that has nothing to do with person, but just at the base level, I think you have to be true to yourself before you're true to somebody else or a whole culture.
I disagree. And I disagree because it is your it should be your responsibility as a man or a female to take ownership and find out the truth. You know, that ain't true for the culture. That ain't for real and not real. You need to find truth, and you got to do your research. You got to read your book. You got to talk to the elders. You got to dig deep and figure out what's what. You know, you can't just, like you said earlier, Cal, you can't just be walking around like, thinking one way and thinking you the good guy when you're really the bad guy. So that comes, a lot of people need to take more responsibility, you know.
I'm trying to see what you disagree with.
Yeah. Y'all saying the same thing. Y'all saying the same thing, just differently.
Well, I disagree.
Y'all saying the same thing, just different ways of.
No. Let me finish. So
well, I'm saying that I'm disagreeing with that. If you're not representing culture a certain way, that, you know, it's kind of not your fault because basically you may not have known better, you know. And I'm saying forget that, because almost the F word. I'm saying forget that, because you have to do the research and you need to know, and you got to take responsibility. And I think as a black man in America, in the world, forget America, in the world, you know, we don't take enough responsibility for ourselves. You know, we so quick to go, well, you know, this, like you said, it's not my responsibility, or it's not in my best interest to judge, to not hold any type of responsibility, no matter what the subject is about. But it is my responsibility to do some research, to learn, and to create, and to uplift my people that look like me in my community. And I think that's what goes back to the conversation earlier. It's like, okay, well, how do you want to be represented? And it's not just how you want to be represented, it's how you represent your people. You know, so many times we get these people in power, these rappers, actors, and they represent us how they feel at that moment, because they feel like they can do whatever they want. But in reality, I mean, that's not how it should be. That's what I'm trying to say. You should take more responsibility when you're representing your culture, when you represent your people.
Well, no, so we're not disagreeing on any of that. And I never said anything out of a lack of knowledge. I'm saying, so this ain't me, but this is one you'll understand. So if for some reason my soulmate, and this, I don't use it. If I thought my soulmate was not African American, that may not, this is just an example, that may not be the best representation of the culture. So my question is, do I do what's best for the representation of the culture and go find somebody that is of the same race as me, even though this other person may be the person that feeds my heart and my soul and makes me a better person? And that's just one example. I'm not even trying to get into interracial dating and all that. Anything, whether it's saying everybody else likes to listen to hip hop and that's part of the culture. Everybody likes to dress a certain way, but for me, I like to listen to classical and I like to wear suspenders, whatever it is. All I'm saying is it gets to a point where you have to be true to yourself first, and not out of a lack of knowledge, not out of ignorance, not out of the detriment to your people. All I'm saying, regardless of what society you come to, there's a certain level where you have to be true to yourself, because if you can't be true to yourself, then you are not putting your real self forward. Now, what I am going to agree with you with, like, I don't think we should be out here misrepresenting the culture or making ourselves look bad. That's a whole different conversation. And I didn't mention anything about rappers. I'm not giving anybody a pass for that. I'm just saying at the end of the day, well, at the end of my day, because we're both using that one now, I feel like whatever it is, you can't represent somebody else until you can represent yourself effectively. Because at some point, even if you are the representative of the culture, if people can say, oh, this person isn't really that person, then that invalidates everything that you've done as a representative. So you have to be authentic first and true to yourself first, and still doing. And I guess what I'm saying is you have to have that base before you can build on it with everything that you're saying.
And I agree with you, Anthony, and that's cool. But the part I don't agree with you is I'm telling you, and what I'm saying, both of you, Kev, too. What I'm saying is you have to know who you are to make those decisions. You can't just, and you made a good example earlier. And I would love to one day talk about dating different coaches, dating outside your race. I mean, I could talk hours about that. But what I will, and what I'm trying to say on topic is, you got to know who you are as a person, as a man, as the race that you are from, before you can go ahead and figure out what kind of identity or what you want to believe in. Because if you don't know, if you don't have the base or the root, then you're going to make decisions based off what society's going to tell you anyway. And that's what I'm trying to say. A lot of people
we're saying 90% of the same thing.
Yeah, we probably are. But I'm
saying something different.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is you got to know who you are. You got to do that work. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't do the work to figure out who they are. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to know.
Okay. So
no, okay, go ahead.
Caveat. So you do the work, and what you believe in and what you identify with isn't aligned with what your definition of real is, right? We'll use real or genuine, whatever you want. Are they supposed to go with what the consensus says is X, despite their own individual truth is something other than that? And that speaks to interracial, that speaks to types of music, that speaks to everything. So
that's a difficult question to answer, because you basically, I can't answer that question because I'm assuming that someone does the research. I'm assuming they figure out who they are, and then I'm assuming after they do all that, they make us some. And if you do all that work, I highly doubt you're gonna agree with a lot of the things that are going on in the world. Most likely,
but see, that's coming from a non-empathetic way, though, because for me to assume.
But if you do all that work,
I can't be presumptuous and say that you do all this work, you're gonna come to the same point that I came to. Like, our individual paths is vastly different, and there's small increments and nuances to even that, to where, okay, you could follow somebody's path step for step, and it's still gonna look different because you're different people. And we may be like similar, and we all the same.
And don't let us belittle the fact of what you're saying. We should.
Yeah, I'm not taking it away at all.
We should do the math.
Because you and Anthony are saying a lot the same. And actually, some of the stuff that I'm saying, it dovetails, it aligns. But my thing is, I can't tell you what your truth is. You got to find your truth. Now, for some people, it's going to align, and we can have a collective where we move forward, and some people are not. But that's okay. Like, if everybody's the same, then what's the point? You know what I mean? And the fact that we identify with a crafted construct, a social construct, a culture construct, that majority is not run by us. It's very easy through those channels to articulate and make anybody seem what you want to do, because we're in a game. It's an economic game, and if you got the chess pieces, you can move it how you want to. So then people identify with that, and so you say, like, okay, well, we have this hero worship, which we do, but that's across cultures. Anybody that's kind of at the top, you're gonna have people looking up to them as if they're like some moral compass. And so what you're saying, and I agree with, is you do the research for self, you find out who you are, find out what you believe, find out how you feel, then you can identify whatever tribe, whatever it is, where you go, and then how you gonna make your legacy and leave something worthwhile behind, and not just, go to the strip club, make it rain. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it ain't nothing wrong with going to a strip club making it rain if that's what your truth is. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, we need to do more than just follow what everybody else is doing, following the herd. We need to, like you said, make our own decisions, come up with our own thoughts, be free thinkers, being free starts with the mind.
Yeah, I agree.
We agree.
All right. Now let's go back to these women.
No. Let's talk about everything that's been going on. Just like, how we've been dealing with the change in life and all that in the last month or so.
You talking
See,
about
I'm on this podcast on the elliptical.
The lock. Oh man, that's been rough. It's been rough, dude.
Well, tell us, because Kevin and I have already had a bit of this conversation. So you tell us to begin with, like when it first got on your radar, when it became real, and when it affected changing your life, and then how you've been dealing with it ever since.
All right. So at first, honestly, my brother told me about this in like the beginning of the year. He was like, "Hey, like we was talking about, me and my brother, we talk a lot. Well, you probably don't know, but me and my brother, we talk.
Oh yeah, no, you told me about it.
And we just checking in and, talking about finances, saving. My brother's a big saver. So he's kind of like my personal accountability partner financially. So we was talking, and then I think I brought up something I was trying to invest in. It was something I brought up. I don't remember the exact topic, but he was like, hey, man, what you need to worry about right now is this thing going on in China, Wuhan. I'm like, what's going on in Wuhan? I need to worry about it. I'm in California. He's like, yeah, man, virus going on. He's like, yeah, it's getting pretty bad. He's like, Wuhan is bigger. He's like, they shut that whole region down. He's like, that's like them shutting California down. Like, that's something to really take notice. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna take notice of it, but I don't know much about China, Wuhan, or the disease, but so he told me about it. This was like 2 or 3 months before it really popped off, and I had some trips planned in New Orleans. I had a bachelor party in New Orleans, and I had and my girl's birthday party in New Orleans. So we I think a few weeks before we were going out to Mardi Gras, we getting up. People the cases are starting to get worse. The Wuhan stuff is on the news. They advise people really not to travel if they don't need to, but it's like a real soft advisory. You know what I mean? Like, hey, if you don't need to travel, don't travel. And so I'm gonna speed the story up. But anyway, we
go ahead.
End up going to New Orleans, and just doing our normal thing. I mean, New Orleans was normal. It was busy, and it was crazy. We knew about the virus, but it was like, oh, that's still out there. Wuhan, it ain't here yet.
They down in the Delta.
Yeah,
it was there.
Delta, so we it's ironic. My girl got sick. She ended up getting she wasn't feeling well out there, and we like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. And then I got sick on the way back on the flight. I had just like a little cold, nothing major, but I figured it was from drinking, partying, and being up. So I go take it. Well, do my medicine ball, do what I do when I'm not feeling it, shake it off. And then a week later, things are getting real bad. I have a bachelor party to go do in New Orleans. Like, now they shutting down flights. They telling people not to travel. They starting to tell people not to come to work. I'm like, oh, okay. I go still go to this little bachelor party in New Orleans. I'm the best man in it. So I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go. I can't. It's going to be hard to give a speech if I didn't go to the bachelor party. So I was like, all right, let me go. So we texting it up until a few people dropped out. Whatever, I'm going to go. Man, I hop on the flight. First of all, Common was on my flight. Shout out to Common if he ever hears this. We hop on the flight, bro. It was nobody on the plane, bro. It was like flying in a jet. Like, I was able to spread out. I mean, I felt like I had my own waitress or host. Like, it was crazy, bro. So we got there. It's a fishing trip, so we probably 2 hours away from the city. So we out in the middle of nowhere in the Delta. And the Delta, baby.
That might have been what saved you being so far away from everybody else.
So I go on the fishing trip. It's 5 days. We do one night in New Orleans, one in the city. I actually text Kev, asked him places to get some oysters, and we ended up going. We spent one night out in the city. Dude, on my way, first of all, my girl's already not at work no more. She's working from home definitely. like 2 days before I come back. I come back, bro. It is crazy. Everything is shut down. Nobody's at the airport. So basically, it's like I came back and was like under attack. It was just a crazy scare. So that's how I started it. And, you know, we have a family restaurant. Pretty much, I worked after 2 weeks, and then we shut down this situation. And you know, just being home, getting used to being home, trying to figure out, you know, how to work out, how to eat. Getting food was crazy. I remember going to the grocery store, bro. Couldn't get nothing off the counter. Couldn't get food. Like everybody in there just grabbing shit off the stuff off the cabinet and everything. So,
be your authentic self, Tracy.
Yeah. That was the crazy thing. You know, trying to get dog food, just everything, man. I ain't got no kids, but it still was crazy. And getting food, we spent like $400 on groceries, you know, getting paper towels, toilet paper, whatever, bleach, whatever we could find, packing up, like thinking we ain't gonna ever be able to go out and get groceries. Like they making it sound like we don't know what's gonna happen. So end up doing that, and I end up. So we, you know, it's just been one of those things, cooking more, not being able to go nowhere, just being home and really trying to figure out what's next. You know, I don't know how and if we open back up, like how that gonna look. You know, there's so many different things you gotta figure out, financially, spiritually, how life gonna look without it. So, you know, I'm still in the middle of it, still in the matrix right now, but you know.
So tell us about you as an individual, what you've been doing through this time, what you've been doing, realizations, the setbacks, all that.
So at first I was just laying up watching Netflix. I watched The Sopranos, which is long. Anybody watch? That's like an hour each episode. And then I watch. What else did I watch? A few other, just watching TV. You know, not pretending like okay, it's gonna snap back. We're gonna go back to normal. And then eat junk food and sit in the house and realize, okay, well, this is going a little longer than I thought. You know, I'm gonna have to start doing something else. So just now I'm like going for walks, trying to work out, playing with my dog, working on the yard, you know, putting together this workout routine that I'm planning on trying to do, but I push it back every day. So hopefully I'm gonna start like Kev, you know, get it while I'm podcasting.
We're gonna stretch this podcast out.
And then
as long as we can, because Kev gotta stay on the machine.
I see him up there. That's just laughing. Like.
I was like, no, Tracy, take your time.
And then also, what else did I do? I've been working out, hanging out with my girl. You know, she's home. We both home, making sure we get along with each other. And that's pretty much it, man. You know, just trying to, you know, keep my sanity. I think that's the hardest thing is like realizing like we really don't know what's at the end of this tunnel, man. It's like we think we do, but you know, the more I read, the more I kind of use my common sense, like they ain't gonna really jump back to normal as quick as people think. Like I think me and my brother were talking about it. I think the psychological toll on this is gonna be years, bro. Like, you know, you talk about concerts, sporting events, like stuff that I would do without even thinking about. It's like I don't know when that stuff is gonna open up, and when it does, I don't even know if I'm gonna feel comfortable going. So it's like it's like a lot of questions, and it's like, you know, I think for me, you know, the thing that gives me hope and makes me feel comfortable is like knowing, like at the end, even if things aren't what they used to be, you know, there is gonna be some golden nuggets at the end. You know, there's people still gonna be making money. It might be different. You know, the tech companies you thought were gonna hit might not be the ones that hit. You know, it's probably gonna be a lot of virtual reality stuff, a lot of stuff where people can do at home. Like I just looked at the Peloton. Me and my girl just signed up for the Peloton workout. And, you know, this like gyms. I don't even know. Like Kev is working out in this penitentiary gym right now, and
formerly penitentiary.
And I would joke when I said you should sell memberships, but it's like it might be the new norm to work out at home. Like I don't know how many people gonna, like, say Kev go to the gym. Is his wife gonna be comfortable with him going to the gym, coming back home to his kids, and his wife, like even if he cool, it's just the idea of him explaining that's a new, not normal. Like you didn't have to ever probably go to the gym before. You never had to worry about bringing a virus home to your family. You know what I'm saying? So it's just so many different things that really go deep in thought.
I mean, lots of things though, right? Everything that's in that type of setting.
Yeah.
Not cutting you off, but like speaking like you saying the gym bullshit, the gym, the theater, the shit, even the store, you still risking it, right? So,
but I think
it's like all these different places.
Theaters are done, bro. They were struggling before.
I don't know. Ask Georgia. They opening on Monday, I think.
Yeah, ain't nobody.
Did you see that video
that
Gilly the Kid put out?
Hey.
Let's keep talking. I'm gonna see if I can find it and share. Go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like what you're saying, Tracy. Yeah, all these things that were commonplace, and I mean, you really took them for granted. You're gonna have you second guessing. Animals enjoying all their time to be roaming around. That's cool. Yeah. And the pollution been lessening up. I think that's also cool. It's a shame that humans being, Anthony said this before, and I think we talked about it too behind the scenes, like we are the viruses. So it's unfortunate that all that, when that does rev back up, so will, the problems that come with that. So.
I mean, but even that, it's like, okay, a lot of people don't realize either. It's like, I mean, it's going to be a big shift, like I think.
Oh, definitely a shift.
The restaurant industry is definitely one of those industries that's going to be very, very, I mean, nobody's going to want to go sit in a restaurant for a minute. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And a big old
But that's why capitalism is capitalism, right? So you just got to figure out how to feed
and that might translate to, like you said, like more restaurants doing delivery only, more restaurants doing takeout only. Like there's still gonna be some bread at the end of all this. It's just gonna be different how we thought about it. We got to reprogram our mind on what was normal, because that normal may not exist no more, and that's gonna be hard. And that's how people get left behind. You know what I'm saying? Like the new normal. I mean, even example. This might be a new normal. Getting a haircut. The new normal on a haircut might be house calls. The new normal on makeup might be house calls. You know what I'm saying? It might, instead of a haircut being $30, it might be $50 because the person got to come to you. The new normal for a facial, it might be house call. The new normal for grocery store. Grocery stores might not even allow people to come in no more. You might have to order online and schedule a pickup. You know what I'm saying? We just don't know.
Speaking of that, you could cut back on overhead though. So if you don't have a physical place, so then you gotta run, again, capitalism. Somebody gonna underget you because they don't have to pay for a physical location no more, and everything is house calls, and gas is low right now. You thinking it might be one way, but somebody gonna undercut that market. So. Like I said, it's always ways around.
Even my girl and my brother, they both working from home right now. My brother, he brought it up to me too. Office space. What happens when these companies realize? When these companies realize that they don't need an office no more. That you can work from home permanently. We might have this a conference room and meet maybe a few times a month. That's going to change the structure of how many people they hire. That's going to change the structure on their profits, because they don't need it might even affect the real estate game, because now we don't need all these big old corporate buildings. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was watching one of the news things, and Mayor Garcetti said, we need the Mayor Garcetti or the New York mayor. They were like, he said, even going to school, like kids, there might be a certain age group or percentage of people who can now homeschool.
Oh, hold on real quick. I'm going to see if I can try this for y'all real quick. Let's see if the video plays.
Should I keep talking?
Can you see this video or no?
I can. We the Culture TV.
Yeah, I see that. Can you play it?
Can you hear the audio?
Let me see. Hold
on. No, I can't.
We ain't worried about it. But no, I'm gonna send this video to y'all. Gilly is talking specifically about how they opening up all this stuff in Georgia, and it's like, of course, it's happening in the blackest city of all, which, you know, to me, is the most successful black city that there is right now.
Right.
That's a whole different thing as far as like who's opening up and where. But I thought he made some decent points in it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, but that even goes to us. Like, you know what I mean? Us being strong-minded black men, we got to be able to see the opportunity in this. You know what I'm saying? And the opportunity on how we're going to be able to provide, not just now, but provide in the future. Because, like I said, the way we thought before, if we don't reprogram our mind, we might not see the golden nugget. So that's why it's real important that we able to see, what's going to be what. So, because I think I was listening to a podcast yesterday. A guy was telling me, like, you know, like after World War II, everybody came home and had a bunch of babies, and a lot of people saw the opportunity. The opportunity was making diapers and formula, and you know, because everybody came home, it was such a boom, and you know, such a boom, baby boomer, that, you know, an opportunity that wasn't there before it was created. So it's gonna be things like that we gotta see, you know, that we gotta reprogram our mind to see. So that's my little rant.
How you feeling on that elliptical?
Well put. Feeling like $1 million.
You got another hour in you, huh?
I do, but I ain't doing it.
Sidebar, Anthony. Hey, try Peloton. You too, Kev. Y'all can download the Peloton app and you get 90 days free. I think for the next week or two. So, and I think after that 90 days free, it's like $12, $13 a month. So, and they got like yoga.
There's workouts other than the bicycle, right?
Oh yeah. There's yoga. There's meditation. There's like HIIT classes. There's a bunch of stuff. So, and they got different, like they're like 10, 15, 20 minutes. You can pick your time, your level. So, and that's another opportunity. You know, it's funny. We was talking earlier. That's another opportunity. You know, maybe for investing, if people invest in or whatever. But
Kev, you need to be coming out with your own workout program. And I say it sounds like a joke when I'm saying it. I'm smiling, but like you should.
Why
you got
not?
The physique. You love to talk. You got the gym.
I know. That's what we. You know, maybe when we podcast, we all go for a work. We work out while we podcast.
Nah,
for sure. All right, man. Well,
but this is cool, y'all. How long did we go today?
Oh, you saying it's done? About an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, go as long as we need to. I think, you know.
Oh yeah. We can keep going.
Y'all keep going.
We're gonna go take care of fall off.
Y'all keep talking. Y'all just gonna see a face for me. It's gonna be muted. But yeah, man. Good talk.
You know,
no, we ain't done. Hold on. So
I'm done.
Go ahead first, Tracy.
Go ahead.
I got a question. I guess I challenge everybody to come up with an idea right now. An idea, not something personal you want for your own business. You know, something that you want to share. If this does put out there, that might influence somebody to help them on their path on finding a new way to create income. Something you want to share. Obviously, don't share your secret business ideas, but yeah.
I already shared mine with Kev.
Share it on this.
Well, I literally did. If you have a great physique, you have the means and the wherewithal, and you love to talk, make your own workout program. But you know, that's like most people on Instagram. Well, there's a whole sub-genre of people on Instagram. So, you know,
yeah, the workout motivation.
If you know how to cut your own hair, make YouTube tutorial videos on how to cut your own hair or cut somebody else's hair in your house. If you work in the health food industry, make videos about healthy combinations, how you can make your at-home ginger wellness shot. How about that?
Not a point.
Does that work for you, sir?
Oh, dang.
You got 3 for 1.
Yeah, he did them all. He already said it before this happened, so he already.
Hey, somebody been doing their homework. Somebody was ready for this.
I came up with a whole
stay
new
ready.
business.
I don't get ready. Yeah, he got 5 of them.
Hey, he shut me up on that one. Like, all right, well. All right.
That's real.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I forgot my question too. Y'all lucky. Kev might get off easy on this one.
Oh man, that was a good. Hey, now you shut me up. I was over here thinking I came on so hard.
I was trying to make it be a clean.
But that speaks to. Sorry, Kev, we're back in it now. What me and Kev were talking about, like, for this is a time of uncertainty for everybody, but for a lot of us, we've had a lot of, I mean, and it doesn't even matter. Like, I would have said introverts, like, but I think it doesn't even matter. There's a lot of us that have had a lot of ideas, but have not had the time to explore them. And depending on how you look at this, like, there is a silver lining amongst all the madness and all the uncertainty. Like, this is the time to, like you said, to come up. And even if it's not a new business venture, just to explore something that you have not had time to. And that thing that you explore could be yourself. You can get to know yourself better. You can have a better relationship with yourself. You can have a better relationship with your dog, with your family member, with your friends. But I do think as much as it is so easy to soak up all the madness and everything from the news and everybody's uncertainty and negative energy, and as much as I think it's perfectly fine to just be lazy sometimes and just let yourself sit there. Being lazy is one thing, and that's perfectly fine. I'm about to go be lazy for about an hour after this. But even just to sit in the shut up. Even to go just sit.
But
in
amen
the
to what you
uncertainty,
about to say.
and even to go sit in the uncertainty and just feel whatever you need to feel, I think that's fine. But I think at some point, find the silver lining in this moment, that there is more time. And even if you decide to do nothing but allow your mind and your body to rest with this time, I think it is the perfect time to leverage this time for whatever it is that you've been needing to do. It could be absolutely nothing, and then your body and your mind rest.
Yeah, that's real. You're right.
Be working out.
We go so much. That's the thing.
I'm going. I gotta go for real. That's why.
Your wife calling you?
Keep talking. I'm just saying. Yeah, we talking about being. No, you got 2 kids for 2 people.
No, I get it. Well,
so,
hey, Kev, before you go, like, what is it? Give us a 30-second thing on telling us about, like, what life is like having a full family. You know what I mean? The pros and the cons.
At this time, especially in this time.
It's constant. There's no let up. So you gotta keep moving and, be happy and grateful that you're happy with the people you with. So it's cool, but you don't get no breaks. But, I ain't built for breaks, so I'm good. Otherwise, I wouldn't have jumped on the car.
I ain't built for breaks. I like that. You were saving that one. The next one, whatever you said about not being built or built for breaks, not being built for breaks, whatever you said.
Yeah.
That's one of them ones you were practicing in the mirror.
Nah, I wish I would have, because then I would have stopped and then I would have said it to make sure it was clear. But it's all good.
Well,
you can make a soundbite out of it.
On this next one, we're gonna talk about like relationships and dealing with all of that, different levels of relationships in the pandemic.
How often are we doing this?
Cool.
Once a week, or once, or a few times
every
a week?
Day, Tracy.
Y'all text
every
me.
Day.
I'm getting down.
Every day?
No, once a week.
That's
all
my
right,
cardio. Boom.
All right, sir.
All right, y'all. Appreciate you.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right.